guys. Just a little something new. No podcast this week, so we're gonna do two mini videos. One is gonna be this one we're doing right now, which is about gaming while black, and then the next one is going to be a Kingdom Hearts version of episode 35. So, don't want to watch the gaming while black. The Kingdom Hearts version of episode 35 will be up. And if you don't want to watch that one, well, hey. So, couple of things we wanted to go over. It's a lot of common misconceptions that's been going around, especially with this Miles Morales game coming out. People have been saying, "Well, why are you guys so excited about a character being black? It shouldn't be that big of a deal." Da 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 da. You guys have black characters before, and I think Chrono will be the best person to explain why that's not really a good. You guys don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Go ahead, Chrono.
So the problem is, if y'all don't know who it is, it's Nappy, aka Chrono. The problem is a lot of people say that we have black protagonists already in gaming. We don't have positive black protagonists in gaming. So, for instance, our protagonist, when people think of black protagonists, is CJ or Franklin, and other mainstream,
You might
like
get the occasional ball roll.
Right, you might get the bow roll,
He's
but
not even a protagonist.
you got to look at the situation like this. Our probably the closest thing we have to a black protagonist that I know of is Sass from Final Fantasy 13, and even then, he's a side character. This means more because this is one of the first black characters that has the mainstream all eyes on you, and that's the thing that's going on where people are looking at it and saying, well, you have black protagonists. We have stereotypical black protagonists, and that's a problem.
Not to say that there aren't some positive ones there. There's this game called Remember Me. It was about a French black woman. She basically in the future, she was saving her sister or something like that. That was a PS3 game. One of the Assassin's Creeds, I think it's the PSP one, starred a black woman as the lead role. What's another one?
Assassin's Creed Origins. He's from Egypt.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Watch Dogs 2.
Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 2 is a great one. That's
the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
I don't know if y'all want to count Mafia, because like
Mafia is still a stereotype.
You're right.
Mafia started off good.
Stereotype, but like he kind of wasn't like.
I can give Mafia a bit of a pass because you had to fit the time period. You know what I mean? It was a very specific time period. In order to make it feel realistic, you kind of have to engross those characters into how they would have been at the time. So,
Right.
I mean, I would give Mafia 2. I mean, I'd chalk it up to, again, the negativity just coming from the content
That
of
story
the
was
game
way
itself.
good too.
Yeah.
But
It was just fun. It was super, super fun.
But the thing is, it's still very limiting compared to the other ones we got.
Had to struggle.
Right. We got to struggle. Either we're compared to be in a gang, fighting, or a sports title. Like even Marcus was the first. Why we respect Marcus because it's the first black protagonist that was a nerd. Like he was straight a nerd. He was a hacker, but it's still you can still, if you want to be technical, still dealt with criminal activities. So
For sure, that's the whole thing. It was he delved into a lot of criminal.
It was just he wasn't
went
like
into like the security base and erased his criminal history. You know what I mean? So
it was just like he ain't a savage.
And then, like you could play that game without killing anyone. It's like I know people who played that game and strictly
Straight
did
taser. Yep.
because they felt like oh yeah, Marcus wouldn't be killing people out here like that. So
He wouldn't. Like in actuality, they got what the
don't know.
3D printer. The 3D printer you making AKs and stuff. Like, come on now, he wouldn't be doing that.
stun gun or like the guns, but I always made the military weapons and went to the rooftops. I played Watch Dogs 2 like I played Grand Theft Auto.
okay,
But
fair.
yeah.
Delving into the
But,
actual.
I mean, I think a lot of it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of it kind of just boils down to, for me, representation. You know what I mean? First off, I don't think there is a lot of black characters in gaming. I mean, we named a good 8?
5.
8. Yeah,
And,
like it's not a lot in comparison to all of the other games that are out there. A lot of the mainstream games, we don't have that much. And like you said, the representation that we do have is often very negative. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I mean, it for me being black and me being a creative, it's kind of like it's a cycle. You know what I mean? We don't have that type of representation. That's why we celebrate the positive and the good when we get it. That's why we celebrated Black Panther like we did. You know what I mean? It's just like finally this is
R.I.P.
something
Chadwick Boseman.
that's not some stereotypical. Black people are not a monolith, and
No, we're not.
it's important that we showcase that, especially being the fact that Black culture kind of the pulse of culture as a whole.
Facts.
Oh yeah,
Entertainment,
especially
rap
in
music
America.
is
facts.
yeah, and I mean even around the world, because if you go to Asia, you see a lot of that. I think particularly in Japan, they love hip hop culture.
Oh yeah, they do.
They love basketball. They love
Love
all
it.
that. But go ahead, Kate. What's the next part?
Moving into the actual meat of the video, I just wanted to give a couple of people give everybody's perspective of gaming while black. The first thing I want everybody to go ahead and state is the common misconceptions they have, especially you, Moxie, with you being a black lady. I know a lot of times y'all get it worse than a lot than we do as far as black guys do as far as like gaming goes. So misconceptions that you usually get with when it comes to the gaming culture and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it has primarily been as a woman gamer. You get, oh, for real? You play the game? Or I know we talked about it a little bit
On the
week
last
too. The
podcast,
type of games
yeah.
they expect for us to play, like Jules and Tetris, and like no, like I wish I should have brought out my gaming catalog. Like I played real gaming games, you know what I mean? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Take a screenshot of your library or something.
I'm gonna have to do that, and we're gonna post it. We're gonna post it. Remind me, and I'm gonna do that so you can see my catalog. Watch Dogs, you know, man, Borderlands, like, and it's not even just me. It's all of the women gamers that I know. They play hardcore gamer game type shit. My auntie very heavily into first person shooters, very heavily, like I said, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill.
Hi, auntie.
Introduced to gaming she watches now too, so definitely give her a shout out. But
hey, auntie,
into the gaming world, real shit. All right.
Look. She know why I say that. It's an inside joke. So.
I know. But yeah, I mean, it's just stereotypes, just like we all deal with stereotypes for sure. And just kind of going back into, I just think the main issue is just the lack of representation. I can also say as a woman gamer, things are getting a little bit better. You know, I did bring up Horizon Zero Dawn, and we all know the protagonist for that. She's a woman. She's a badass woman. And I will say, 50% of the time you see girls in games, they're either kind of like in the damsel, but other 50% of the time they badass. Like
look at Overwatch.
Tomb Raider, like badass.
They getting better.
It's definitely getting better.
The backlash between Mortal Kombat, they were mad because they shrunk their cup sizes and stuff. Like, these people are weird, bro.
You gotta look at it too. We came a long way from Samus. Remember when Samus got revealed to be a woman? That we came a long way from that.
She one of the OG badass women.
So I'm gonna speak from being black and being in the hood. You know, growing up in the hood, you know, we have specific games. Not even games. Specific things that people expect from us. We supposed to be the 2K players. We're supposed to like Madden. We're supposed to like shooters. We're supposed to like this stuff. And that's not the case. I'm a person that I love Final Fantasy 14. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on Final Fantasy. I grew up playing Mario. I grew up, literally, I did not get into 2K until 2K17. I was never a 2K player. I never liked NBA 2K until 2K17, and it's because it was cartoony. Now I play it, but back in the day, I was the one playing fighting games. I was pushing people to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I was pushing people to play Third Strike. I was playing the Crash Bandicoots, Jet Set Radio. Jet Set Radio is by far my favorite game of all time. So, you know, I feel like it's a huge stereotype that most black people, especially if you come up in the hood, you like hood shit. You like shooting, you like you, if you like anime games, you're only gonna rock with Dragon Ball Z, Tenkaichi. I'm like, I don't even like Dragon Ball Z. Like, I like anime stuff. If Bleach came out with a fighting game, I would play Bleach before I played Dragon Ball Z. You know, and it was weird going up.
Fighting game on the Wii was pretty ass.
Yeah, true. That was.
All of the Bleach fighting games I've played have not been.
Yeah.
Not up to par.
But
not up to par.
Yeah, it's like, it's bad. Like, I know I'm a kind of segueing away from the game aspect, but also you gotta look at things like when you go to cons like YumaCon. AKA attest at YumaCon, they don't like us there. We look like we hood dudes there. When in actuality, we're probably nerdier than most of the nerds in there. Like, we'll see somebody with a dual disc and look at it like,
that's why I make it a point to dress the way I dress when I go to those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like when me and Chrono met for the first time, he was like, "Hey, bro, what you going? Where you at? What you looking at?" I was like, "Fat nigga with the Pikachu shirt on." He was like, "Oh, okay."
like harmless, very harmless.
Like, yo.
I think that's kind of like, for me, I think that kind of just go into being a black nerd, like, all together. Like,
yeah, it's starting to be more culturally acceptable now, but if you would have said you watched anything besides Dragon Ball Z back in the day, people looked at you like,
you
wait, I want to make a statement on this because I had a conversation with LaShayla about this, about alternative black. And she told me straight up, she was like, people who do not know you would not know you were geek. You look like a basic hood dude. And I'm looking like, what is basic hood? I'm like, what is basic hood? I'm like, what does my appearance have to do? And this is something when it comes to gatekeeping and gaming, gatekeeping and anime, gatekeeping in general. What does the way I look define who I am? Because alternative black is just saying I'm not hood. Anybody that knows me, I'm not really hood. I'm from the hood, but I'm not hood. I don't do hood activities. So therefore, by your definition,
and ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right, I know how to maneuver around the hood. I know how to maneuver around my hood. I feel like people that do that want to separate themselves from being black. And that's not always the case, but I really do feel like the people that gatekeep and say you're not alternative is a way to gatekeep and say, like, that. It's weird to me.
I've had family who's told me in the past. Right, I've had family who told me in the past of, "Oh, Aaron, you want to be white so bad." And I'm like, no. I was like, I know they didn't mean any malice behind it. 9 times out of 10, that comes from being a joking standpoint. But being black doesn't mean that I have to talk a certain way, or being black doesn't mean I have to like certain things, or being black doesn't mean that there's certain movies that I have or have not may have watched. Now, there are certain things that we joke around and say, like, if you've never seen Friday before, like, you ain't black. That's a thing. Mm-hmm. But like most of that is joking.
Of course,
most of that is from a joking manner.
No, I'm about saying my problem is with that is when people take it seriously, they call themselves alternative and then do the exact same thing that you took seriously. That was probably a joke. You do the exact same thing. It's weird at that point. Like, you're isolating yourself from who you are because people told a joke, and then you're doing the exact same thing that they did. It's very ironic at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean when
There's people who flip it around and do it to other people too.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to fit in. You know what I mean? It boils down to just identity crisis. You know what I mean? You have to be a very strong person to kind of just be able to say, fuck what you're saying. I like what I like, and I'm gonna keep liking what I like, despite how you feel about it.
There's been times when I felt like I'm too black for the white people, and then I'm too
white for the black. Yeah, man.
Nah,
yeah,
I mean, I've
been in that little space.
Mm-hmm.
High school,
it's gotten better.
High school, that's when you was Yeah, it for sure. That's what I was just about to say. Like that shit, I got that shit more so when I was
In high
younger. Oh,
school.
you speak
Yep.
like a white girl. Oh, you cuss
Mm-hmm.
like a white girl. And I'm like, the fuck does that even mean? You know.
And
But
that,
Exactly. Yep.
as we have progressed, as the times have changed, and we're just everybody wants to be themselves and be accepted for being themselves. It's kind of like more accepted to be different.
right.
You know what
That's
I
why
mean? And
I big up
Oof.
people like Donald Glover, aka
yeah,
Childish Gambino, or uh, Tyler the Creator,
Mm-hmm.
the black voice actors that you don't know about, like Phil Lamar.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He's the voice of
every
John
fucking
Stewart
body.
Green Lantern. He's the voice of John Stewart Green Lantern, but he's
Mm-hmm.
also Samurai Jack. So, and a lot of people don't know that
Yeah,
we've been out here for a minute. Like for real, as far as like nerds go, at
Yeah,
one
we've
point
been
our
doing
only
this.
represent as far as nerds go, our only representation for the longest was what, Steve Urkel.
Yep.
yeah.
And that
That
was
was
a
such
very
a
bad misconception,
marginalized.
yo. That was a
So
Mm-hmm.
very bad
marginalized
misconception.
version of a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And now that everybody's like trying to get on the nerd wave, they trying to ride the wave now. You know, you're going to see revolution, and it's a lot of different people coming in and going back to the game, and you're going to want to see more people want to see black representation as a main protagonist. We got that one game coming out where it's a black man and a black woman actually combating against each other. I forgot the name of it, but
That's
it
super
looks
cool.
super dope. You got
That looks like
games,
super cool.
yeah, you got games that are also helping out people like the LGBTQ. Now, I don't want to bring up The Last of Us 2, but they did have representation. Now, granted, it was a little bit of backlash, but you're going to see more and more of it. You're going to see a lot
What's
of.
something funny about that?
What's up?
About The Last of Us 2? There's a lot of people who's capping about that game. Trophies can tell if a certain trophy unlocked. That's basically mean you finish the game, right?
Yep.
Well, they have already came out and said that 58% of the people who bought that game
Didn't finish it. Yep.
they
Yep.
beat it.
Oh, they beat it? Ooh.
That's more people have beaten that game than have beaten Spider-Man.
That's crazy. And I'm like halfway through it. I stopped, but I stopped because I don't like Ellie.
So like where's all this backlash coming from? If more people are beating Spider-Man,
It's cool to hate.
more people are beating.
Right.
If more people are beating that than Spider-Man. More people are beating that than God of War. More people are beating that than Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's cool.
Like,
It's
come
cool
on,
to
bro.
hate. It's cool to
Somebody
hate.
capping.
It's cool to hate. That's why I be telling
Somebody
people.
capping.
That's why I be telling people, pay attention to your video game, the people that you like that do videos, because it's cool to cap. It's cool to cap. That's why I tell y'all, pay attention to these YouTubers. But I think we can end the video here. We got the other one. We got
Right, we
another
gotta do
one.
another one.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, black is not monolithic, as Moxie said earlier. It's whatever you feel like you're doing. It's you doing it while you black, bro. And don't let nobody ever tell you anything different.
Mm-hmm.
This is Nerd Boys. I don't know what we're gonna call this video. Extra. Nerd Boys Extra.
Kingdom Hearts version.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Kingdom Heart Clippy. That's what we're going to call it.
Nerd Boys.
Kingdom.
Death by Daylight or some shit. I don't know.
Yo, shout out to Killer Kobe G. He's still disliking every video we start. Yo, he don't even watch it, and it's a dislike. Yo.
Got 9 views, 3 likes, and 1 dislike. We know who you are.
Like, we love you too, Killer Kobe G. We sorry. We apologize. We hurt your feelings.
I would hate to have that much hate on my heart.
I wish I
Man.
would subscribe to somebody just to dislike. But,
Just to dislike.
Oh my God.
but we'll be back with the the topics that we were gonna run through for this week, and then we'll be back with y'all in a little bit.
All right. Later.
Peace.